Something big is quietly happening at Manchester United, and it could shape the club's future for years. While the first team fights for Champions League places and fans argue about who should manage the club next, a new name is slowly rising inside the academy, and that name carries one of the heaviest legacies in football history, Kai Rooney. Yes, the son of Manchester United legend Wayne Rooney. And now he has taken a huge step that signals something serious about his future. But this story isn't just about a famous last name. It's about pressure, expectations, and whether the next generation of United stars can truly live up to the club's legendary past. Because at Old Trafford, nothing is ever simple. Recently, a major announcement confirmed that Kai Rooney has officially signed with S Sports Management, the same agency that managed his father during his iconic career. The agency is run by Paul Stretford, the man who helped guide Wayne Rooney through some of the biggest moments in football. When the news broke, the message from the agency was clear. They believe Kai Rooney has a very bright future. Their official statement welcomed the young forward to the team and expressed excitement about supporting him as he continues his journey in football. It might sound like a routine announcement, but behind the scenes, it shows that serious planning is already happening around his career. And that raises a fascinating question. Could Manchester United one day see another Rooney leading the attack at Old Trafford? For fans who remember Wayne Rooney's incredible career at the club, the idea feels almost surreal. Rooney scored goals, won trophies, and became one of the greatest players in Manchester United history. Now, his son is trying to carve out his own path in the same place. But Wayne Rooney himself has been very careful about how he approaches his son's career. He doesn't want to interfere too much. In fact, during an interview last year, he explained that he prefers to take a step back and allow the coaches at Manchester United to guide Kai's development. According to him, the most important thing is not fame, pressure, or expectations. It's enjoyment. Rooney believes that as long as his son loves the game and keeps working hard, everything else will fall into place. That mindset may be exactly what Kai needs. Because growing up as the son of one of England's most famous footballers brings enormous attention. From a young age, people have always recognized him. His mother, Colleen Rooney, recently shared how that experience has followed him for years. She explained that when Kai was younger and went to matches, fans would constantly approach him with the same question: "Are you Wayne Rooney's son?" For many kids, that kind of attention would be overwhelming. But according to his family, Kai has handled it incredibly well. They say he has always been strong-minded and focused, even when people around him constantly remind him of his father's legacy, and that mental strength might be one of his biggest advantages. Inside the Manchester United Academy, Kai Rooney has already been making steady progress. Recently, he played a key role in helping the team reach the Under-8 Premier League Cup final. In the semi-final against West Ham, he even got on the score sheet during a 3-1 victory. For young players, moments like that can be huge confidence boosts. The final will take place next month against Crystal Palace at Hurst Park, giving Rooney and his teammates another chance to prove themselves. But while the academy continues producing exciting young talent, the situation at Manchester United's first team is becoming more complicated. Because while young players like Kai are dreaming about the future, the present is filled with questions. And the biggest one is about the manager, Michael Carrick. When Carrick stepped into the role earlier this year as interim manager, expectations were relatively low. Many believed he would simply stabilize the team until the club found a long-term solution. But something unexpected happened. Manchester United started winning. Game after game, Carrick's team began climbing the Premier League table. Performances improved, confidence returned, and suddenly the Red Devils found themselves sitting in third place. For a club that had been struggling with consistency, the change was dramatic. Carrick looked calm, confident, and comfortable in his new role. During press conferences, he spoke about how much the club means to him and how proud he was to see the fans enjoying football again. For supporters, That connection with the club's identity felt important. After all, Carrick isn't just another manager. He's a former United player who understands what the badge represents. But football moves quickly, and one result can change everything. Despite his impressive start, Carrick recently suffered his first defeat as Manchester United manager. The team lost a tough match against Newcastle United at St. James's Park. It wasn't just the result that concerned fans. It was the performance. United had struggled to create chances in recent matches against Crystal Palace, Everton, and West Ham. Even though they managed to collect points, some observers noticed a drop in attacking quality. So when the defeat finally arrived, many people felt it had been coming. Still, Carrick remained calm after the match. He admitted he was disappointed, but insisted there was no reason to panic. From his perspective, the team simply didn't play well enough. But here's where the situation gets interesting, because even though Carrick has done a solid job so far, Manchester United's leadership may still be looking at other options, and some of those options are among the biggest names in world football. But before we dive into the shocking names now linked with the Old Trafford job, there's another rising star inside the Manchester United Academy who has fans incredibly excited. His name is JJ Gabriel, and his story might be even more surprising than Kai Rooney's. But that's where things get really interesting, because what's happening with Gabriel right now has left many fans asking the same question. Why hasn't he been promoted yet? We'll reveal the surprising reason next. If Manchester United fans love one thing, it's discovering the next big talent before the rest of the football world notices. And right now, inside the club's academy, one young player is creating a huge amount of excitement. His name is JJ Gabriel. Many supporters believe he could become one of the most exciting prospects Manchester United has produced in years. At just 15 years old, Gabriel has already been dominating games at youth level with skill, confidence, and creativity that feels far beyond his age. Every week, his performances are becoming harder to ignore. But strangely, despite his incredible form, fans have been asking the same question again and again. Why isn't JJ Gabriel playing for the under-21 team yet? Normally, when a young player performs this well, clubs quickly promote them to higher age groups. It's a natural step in development. Bigger challenges, stronger opponents, and faster football help young stars improve even more. But in Gabriel's case, the situation is a little different. And the reason is actually a rule. When the current season began, Gabriel was only 14 years old. Because of that, Manchester United would risk breaking competition regulations if they selected him for the under-21 squad. In simple terms, the club could face fines or penalties if they moved him up too soon. So even though his talent clearly suggests he could compete at a higher level, United made a decision early in the season. They would keep him with the under-18s and focus on developing him carefully rather than rushing him. It might frustrate fans who want to see him climb the ladder quickly, but inside the club, the coaching staff believes patience is the smartest approach. And the people working with him every day are extremely impressed. Darren Fletcher, who has spent time closely observing the academy talents, recently spoke about Gabriel and didn't hide his excitement. When asked whether the young star might appear in a first-team squad, Fletcher smiled before answering carefully. Technically, he said, anyone could be picked, but realistically, it's still too early. That didn't stop him from praising Gabriel's talent in detail. According to Fletcher, the teenager has something special, not just skill, but a deep love for football itself. He enjoys training, enjoys having the ball at his feet, and most importantly, enjoys expressing himself on the pitch. Those qualities are exactly what great players often have. Fletcher also pointed out something that coaches value highly in young players: decision-making. Many teenagers can dribble or score goals, but knowing when to pass, when to attack, and when to slow the game down is much harder to learn. Fletcher believes Gabriel already shows impressive maturity in those moments. Still, he reminded fans that the most important thing right now is development. At just 15 years old, Gabriel still has a long journey ahead of him. The club wants to protect him from too much pressure and allow him to grow naturally. But here's the fascinating part. Even though he cannot officially play for the first team yet, Gabriel has already been invited to join some first-team training sessions, and that's a huge sign of trust. Training alongside senior professionals allows young players to experience the speed and intensity of top-level football. It's often the first real step toward eventually making a professional debut. In fact, some insiders believe that if the rules had been slightly different this season, Gabriel might have already appeared in a Manchester United matchday squad. The only competition that would have allowed it was the FA Cup, which sometimes includes very young players. Unfortunately for him, United were eliminated from the tournament early by Brighton. That closed the door on that opportunity for now. But inside Carrington, the belief remains strong that JJ Gabriel could eventually become something special. And for Manchester United, producing young stars has always been part of the club's identity. From the famous class of '92 to modern academy graduates, the tradition of developing homegrown talent is something fans deeply care about, which is why the stories of players like Kai Rooney and JJ Gabriel are capturing so much attention right now. But while the academy is full of promise, the conversation around the first team is becoming more intense by the week. Because the biggest debate at Manchester United right now is not about youth players. It's about the manager, Michael Carrick. For weeks, Carrick seemed to be building the perfect case to take the job permanently. His calm leadership, improved results, and connection with the fans made him a popular choice. But football debates rarely stay calm for long. And recently, something happened that suddenly created controversy among Manchester United legends. It started with just a few words on social media. Paul Scholes, one of the most respected players in United history, posted a short message after the team's defeat against Newcastle. At first glance, it looked like a simple opinion, but many fans interpreted it as a direct criticism of Michael Carrick. The message suggested that although United had been getting results, their performances in recent games had not been particularly impressive. Within hours, the internet exploded. Supporters began arguing about whether Scholes was right, or whether he had unfairly attacked a manager who had actually improved the team. Even former United defender Patrice Evra reacted to the situation, saying he hoped Scholes' account had been hacked. That's how heated the discussion became. Suddenly, a simple comment had turned into a full-blown debate about Carrick's future. Was he truly the right man to lead Manchester United long-term? Or were the recent wins hiding deeper problems inside the team? As the backlash grew online, Paul Scholes eventually decided to address the situation directly. And what he said next surprised many people, because according to Scholes, the entire situation had been misunderstood. But the real twist in this story came when he revealed what he did immediately after posting that message. He contacted Michael Carrick personally. And the conversation between the two former teammates tells us a lot about what's really happening behind the scenes at Manchester United. But that's only part of the story, because while legends debate Carrick's future, another famous United star has already revealed who he believes should become the club's dream manager.